Okay, so the proper wrench size is 7/8 for this EGR tube, and this one, thank God, came loose very, very easily. That doesn't always happen, so very blessed with that. Loosen it up. And we got the nut slid back. And that's not all we got to do for this EGR tube, unfortunately. Since it goes over the actual valve cover, we got to take this clamp off, bolt off here in the back. And then we've got to actually get this bolt out down below, which is going to be very, very troubling. There's actually two. There's one underneath there that now you can see it. And we hope to God that those come out without breaking. That's on the exhaust manifold. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I am amazed that I have actually got both of these bolts down below to come free relatively easily. Very rarely does that happen with exhaust bolts. Alright, I've already taken my bolt off the back here. So this tube is now free. Okay, so I might just let it sit back there. I'm not sure if it's too much of a pain in the butt to get out of here. We'll leave it. There it goes. Okay, pull it out like that, and we'll set it over here with the rest of our goodies, and then. Here we've got a ground tang. I'm going to, let's see where the bolts are at. It's out of the way, so I'll go ahead and do that. This particular one, it's on the bottom, and it's a push type at the end down here. Push in on it. Actually, it was on the front side. Right there, push in on that and pull it out. Alright, move these back out of the way. Wiring harness. And then now, it looks like I've got another coolant line back here that I've got to take off of this throttle body. And then, see, that's a wiring harness. That's alright. The next challenge is going to be these bolts that hold this bracket back here for stabilizing the throttle the upper plenum also. So I'll have to take that off. I'll be back. Okay, I've got my bolts out of this bracket back here. Wasn't too bad, just use a 12mm wrench. This hose, however, is such a pain. I'm going to replace it anyway. I went ahead and cut it. That way I don't have to fight it trying to get it off. It'd be much easier going back on with a new hose and a new different type of clamp, because the type of clamps that are on it are just such a pain in the butt. Alright, so now I've got everything free, and the next step, which should be the last for pulling this upper intake, is to go ahead and pull the bolts out. So I'm going to pull the bolts out and pull it up. Be back in a minute. Okay, got all my bolts up. I like to leave mine in the manifold itself. That way I know what's going on with my autofocus. There it is. Okay, so I like to leave my bolts in. That way I know which ones go where. A couple of them are studs, and this thing, I didn't have to pry on it or anything. It's loose. So I'm going to pull it straight up off of there. See if I can place this camera somewhere. You guys can watch this. hopefully. All right. Alright, it came up and off very easily. The gasket did disintegrate. Now, you can purchase a new gasket, but what we're going to use here, since they didn't have it in stock at O'Reilly's, is we're going to use some Ultra Gray. It's a really, really, really good silicone. I love it. It works great on many applications. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I always warranty my work for, same as a dealer would, 12 months or 12,000 miles, whichever comes first. And I've done this for so many years that I know that it outlasts, I mean, it lasts just as good as the regular gasket does, let's put it that way, for this particular type of application. There's other places where you wouldn't use it, but here it's fine. Like, for instance, on the lower intake manifold, I would never use it there. Only in the corners where it would require it, but not for the whole gasket. Okay, so now we're off to going ahead and getting these valve cover gaskets all the way, our valve covers all the way off, and they're going to be Allen head sockets. So I'm going to find the correct one and get to removing the bolts and popping those off. Be back in a minute. Okay, I've got the driver's side valve cover off. Major pain in the butt. I sure hope that the passenger side is not as bad, because over here there's two bolts that go through the valve cover back here, which are this one and this one, that you can only get out with a slim ratchet. Do you have that ratchet, Isaiah? Are you using that slim ratchet? Nope. Here it is. A slim flex head ratchet to get in there. Otherwise you hit the power brake booster, and it's just a major pain in the butt to get to. Anyhow, I'm off to the other side. These grommets have to come off also to be replaced with the new ones. And here's where our leak was at the back of the valve cover. It was pushed out, brittle and just gone. So be back shortly. Okay, so one of the things we're going to show you in this video is how not to do something safely. See there? He's got the tire off. He's working on the fender well. And I got the jack. Just a jack. That's like danger 101. So I won't be getting under there unless he puts a jack stand under it.